Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Vazalut and welcome. Happy Friday. We're halfway through it. Oh, I gotta say, this is gonna be some interesting WTF, but I'm feeling pretty good today. Some good news that I've gotten, and something just kind of went my way, and I was very, very happy about that. So it's a good day. It's a good week, and very much looking forward to hopefully meeting some of you down in Florida this time next week. Let's get to saying hi to all of you, because you're what really is the best in this show. Starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents, who says, have a wonderful WTF Wednesday, Liquid Lunchers. Had a WTF last night. Watched The Bride 2026. Still trying to figure out WTF I watched. Have a great show, Troy. It's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that. Although I'm going to get back to saying hi to everybody right away. Take a look at what my very first WTF is. So we'll get back to that in just a second. But let's continue to say hi to all of you first. Hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show. Yes, please do all those things that Jonathan Conroy just said. So appreciate you guys. I really do. Not nearly as much as I appreciate this one right here. Netter of Netter's Network calls me the love of her life, and she asks you all to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, become a member, gift a membership if you want this channel to continue. Like apparently Geek Flag with Nate knows absolutely does. Thank you so much, my friend. I can't even express my gratitude for that. that goes to Charlie Plays. Welcome, Charlie. Welcome to membership. Hope you stick around and enjoy what I do here. Nate goes on to say, like, share, subscribe, comment, become a member. And if you're going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not make it a gifted membership instead to make our family grow? Yes, please do. And to keep the lights on over here, keep us going. It's the only way. It's the only way. Did I say happy Friday? I'm excited about Friday, so yeah, that's probably where my head is. Absolutely true. If I did say that. Hail to Connie Cleary, the star of Fluff Chick Productions. Hope you are doing well. So yeah. Let's get into that. I'll be honest with you. This is a movie I have absolutely no intention of watching. If I want to see The Bride, I'll just go back and watch the one with Jennifer Beals. You know, it was an excellent film. I thought a couple of the changes that it made were, well, one of the big changes it made was it took the name of Victor, which had originally been Frankenstein's name, and gave it to the creature, which I thought was odd. It just for the purpose of the meaning of the name Victor, meaning victory, you know, like Frankenstein's monster triumphant or something like that. And then I don't remember what they ended up calling Sting's character instead. He had a different first name. I'm like, why change characters like that? But I thought the most interesting change, which was the whole point of it, was changing the whole idea and story for the bride herself. But it also changed Frankenstein's motivations. So it wasn't perfect, but it was really, really a good movie. This, not so much. I want to say hi to Samuel Proctor. Good to see you, my friend. Just finished Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Pretty good. But then near the end, there was a random pot shot he made at Christians, which caught me off guard so much I laughed. His advice was basically, don't fear death, embrace it, but don't do it like Christians do it, to be contrarians. If you think about it from his perspective, you can kind of understand what he's getting at, though, right? If you think about it. Anyway, so let's get to this. The Bride bombs at the box office with a $7 million opening. $7 million might sound like a lot, to your household income, but $7 million opening for a film like this, not good. That is terrible. Joe's Atmosphere, covering this tonight as well. Hail Liquid Lunchers, hiccup. Well, welcome, my friend. I super appreciate it. I'm not real big on giving, crap bomb films too much airtime. I'm always concerned that we're going to influence things the wrong way and send people to watch it as a train wreck. But this one also, by the way, I want to share. This one comes to us from Marvin Montanaro, who I'm really, really hoping is going to be there next week. Looking forward to seeing him. Another Hollywood director therapy movie that went splat. Yeah, you caught that, right? That the they're starting to recognize it for what it is. Therapy movies, yeah. Before I get into the article, my understanding was this was a project by Maggie Gyllenhaal. And this was started a very long time ago. This has been in development hell for a while. And what often happens with these projects that take so long is that they're missing the cultural zeitgeist. They're being written in a time frame of where they started rather than where the world is now. And I think they're reaping the benefits of that, or benefits from the audience point of view, not for them. They're getting the message from the audience reinforced that we do not want this kind of crap anymore, and we will not pay for it. It sounds like this movie didn't know what it wanted to be. And again, the movie that was message first bombs at the box office. Again, if you have a message, not necessarily a deal breaker, but you gotta do it well. Nobody cares about your message if they don't enjoy the film. And it doesn't sound like this was a good enough film. And what it does, it sends the exact opposite message that they think it is. Maggie Gyllenhaal is sending a message saying, yeah, I'm not your person for making movies. And by extrapolation, maybe just being a woman isn't enough, right? Maybe you got to have talent too, if you want to send some sort of feminist message that putting a woman in charge of a movie is as good as a man, she could do anything a man can do. Well, apparently she can lose money as well as a man. She could be as incompetent as any man, but that ain't gonna earn you any respect in at least the markets where making money actually matters. A couple of years ago, I read a book called What the Romans Thought of the Christians. It's fascinating. Back when Christianity was a bit more obscure and the Greco-Roman pantheon reigned supreme, it was a whole lot easier to just make crap up out of rumor. Well, it's kind of no different than social media today. You hear something and you run with it, even if it has absolutely no basis in fact. It's happening all the time. To the point where even our political administrations believe the crap that they see on social media. Some couldn't distinguish them from the Jews. Others assumed they were a blood drinking cult when they talked about the sacrament. Again, from their perspective, you can totally understand that. Religion and proselytization of religion is just like marketing. Understand who your audience is and what message you're getting across to them. What you intend to get across and what they hear are two different things, right? If you dig into the symbolism of the Eucharist, it makes sense. But if you just have a surface level explanation of it, it sounds like cannibalism. And that's completely not what it is, right? And not all actors can be directors, just like directors can't be actors. This is an excellent point. Even if you, for example, this I've heard this said in music all the time. Just because you can read music and sing doesn't mean you can read music and play the piano, right? Two completely different skills. You might know the notes, right? You might be able to sing them through this instrument, right? You understand this instrument, but you don't know how to pull out those notes on a keyboard. Your fingers just don't go that way. It takes practice. Knowing music helps, right? But you still have to learn to play the piano And then you have to practice and get good at it. Because even once you understand and know where the notes are, your fingers don't go there naturally. You might have to look at the keyboard a little bit first. And then you start to feel it. And then your fingers just kind of know. Same thing. As an actor, you might understand the overall process of directing. You might understand the concepts behind it, but executing it, not the same thing. Being able to actually do it, put it into implementation, communicate. Remember, a big part of it is communication. Getting the other actors and the crew and everyone to do what they need to do to fulfill your vision of the movie, right? an actor knows what works for them, but that's not going to be the same for every actor on that set. And let's face it, these people are not good communicators. They're really, really not. Also, this movie should have never been given a $90 million budget and a $65 million marketing budget. I would say a $65 million marketing budget would be fair if it was a project you could believe in. I do think 90 million is probably a bit much. If 65 million is believed to be a fair marketing dollar, then it probably shouldn't be made for more than 65 million, right? You usually figure what it costs and what it costs to market should be comparable. It should be comparable. And welcome to Stark of Iron. Good to see you, my friend. It's been a minute. Hail from Snake Mountain. New video series pilot drops at 4 p.m. Until we meet again. Yes. If you happen to do those, get caught in those rabbit holes of YouTube shorts, and you see a Skeletor, short, remember, it's probably Stark of Iron. Those are some very funny ones. I mean, I kind of hate YouTube shorts, but then if I see one of those, I'll sit there for a second and then just I'll kind of do the J.K. Simmons, oh my gosh, that's some good stuff. I think Samuel Proctor might be onto something. Hollywood thinks they are the church, and the directors and actors act as priests, and it is not ending well for them. I just got a tag from Geek Flag with Nate Knows on X, who was talking about how Gene Simmons was basically saying that people like Mark Ruffalo and what's his name? The dodgeball guy. They should just really shut up. It's really time for Hollywood celebritards to shut their mouth and stay in their own lane. Skeletor got promoted. He's meme lord and pundit now. Snake Mountain, new baby. There you go. So definitely check out Stark of Iron. Make sure you do the clicky things for him. Hit that like, subscribe, and all of that kind of stuff. Ben Stiller, that's the guy's name. Thank you so much. Yeah. And welcome, Mikey Suze. Good to see you. So let's get into this. Let's find out. Marvin Montanaro has a way of breaking these things down in a very intelligent way, and so it's definitely worth checking out his articles. Hollywood's latest attempt to turn a classic horror property into a modern political statement appears to have backfired spectacularly. According to a report from Variety, director Maggie Gyllenhaal's feminist reinterpretation of the classic monster story, The Bride, collapsed at the box office with a disastrous $7.3 million opening weekend from over 3,000 theaters. Let me back up in the chat because Nate was saying, so in its first week, it made back $7 million on a $90 million budget. I don't care where Hollywood is on the message at this point. Those kinds of losses mean they're not going to let Maggie Gyllenhaal direct any more movies. She can do her own independent thing, and everyone's going to ignore her. It kills her career. It really does. I don't care about any of the politics in the background in Hollywood. They may all say, oh, this is wonderful. This is representation. This is, whatever, hitting all the buzz terms. But in reality, they're going, gee, better her than me. Gosh, Yeah, no, I don't think I want to work with her. No, thank you very much. But yeah, that's pretty terrible. For a film carrying a reported $90 million. Oh, see, if I'd have just continued, the article goes into it too. But there you go. Um, be talking about Gene Simmons today. Good, Tony. Good on that one. Maggie Gyllenhaal is going to be sitting in the corner next to the guy who directed Cats. Yeah, exactly. For a film carrying a reported $90 million production budget, the result is catastrophic. When marketing costs estimated around, excuse me, I'm having a contact lens problem. Apologies. There we go. Established around 65 million, and standard theater revenue splitting. Oh, that's right, we forgot. About half of that goes to the theater. The movie would likely need to generate well north of 300 million worldwide just to break even. With that, with the $7 million, yeah, it's not going to do that. So if it does that badly, you can expect it to take this is just an educated guess, so don't go to Polymarket with any of this. But at 7 million opening week, with this negative of a word of mouth, you can watch it crater, and it's not even going to make another 7 million next week. So if it leaves theaters in 3 to 4 weeks at 14 million total, it'll be lucky. There ain't no way it's going to cross the 100 million, let alone the 300 million it needs to break even. It's just not going to happen. Instead, the film's global total currently sits at roughly 13.6 million, making it one of the earliest major box office bombs of 2026. So it's getting close to that 14 million, but that's if you take into account worldwide. That's a bad sign. The Warner Brothers film. Oh, so it was Warner Brothers, not Universal. The Warner Brothers film was marketed as a radical reimagining of the, and this is the big problem, guys. This is the big problem. Your radical reimaginings of beloved IPs, and let's face it, these monster movies are beloved. You have the original, book lovers, right? Like myself, right? You have the Universal fans who love the Universal monsters, which is a very specific, based on the books, mostly much the same themes and spirit, but changing details. Those are, and in a very stylized way. So that is important to the Universal fans. You try reinventing the wheel, you can't appeal to Universal monster fans. So you must appeal to the book fans. And if you don't, you're left holding an empty bag. You really are. You really are. What are you guys saying here? I see the chat really jumping here. Wait, this is a different Frankenstein movie we're talking about? I thought we were talking about Del Toro's. I didn't even know there was another one out already. Yes. That's an excellent point. For, $65 million, you'd think more people would know about it. We'll get into it, but it is a really stupid premise too. What did we think would happen when you've got a woke agenda from Gyllenhaal directing? She's also into same-sex politics, more women representation, in and so on. Yeah. And I have no problems with what you do in your private life. Live and let live. I don't give a flying F. But when that is all your identity is that's pretty weak sauce. That's pretty weak sauce. Movies like this, studios would be pulling it. Yeah, they really should be. They really should. The bride needs to generate $2.57 million just to break even. 257 million probably. And it ain't happening. Yeah, that's true. Add this movie broke Warner Brothers, had the record of all their movies distributing at number one this year, and The Bride breaks that record. Wow. That's saying something. All their movies debuting at number one, except this one. That does say something. You're right. Her brother Jake should be ashamed of how badly Maggie came out of box. This means he'll have to make another blockbuster film. Yeah, right. And isn't he going to be in the next Star Wars? Or no, that's not him. That's another guy, isn't it? I forget. See, that's how closely I'm following Disney Star Wars these days. The Warner Brothers film is marketed as a radical reimagining of the classic monster story, originally introduced in Frankenstein and later popularized by the iconic Bride of Frankenstein. Starring Christian Bale as the monster and Jessie Buckley as the resurrected bride, the movie was pitched by Hollywood media outlets as part of a wave of feminist horror. Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride is part of a growing wave of feminist horror. Movies that place women's autonomy, rage, and control at the center of the monster story. Experts say it's part of a broader shift redefining who the monster really is. If you think you know The Bride, you don't know The Bride. If you saw the movie The Bride of Frankenstein, most of that movie has nothing to do with the book Frankenstein. The story of the bride can be summed up all total in about one page of the entire book of Frankenstein. Spoiler, the bride never actually gets made. She never is actually even brought to life. Victor begins to make a bride for the creature and then decides he can't go through with it and destroys her. And that causes the creature to feel betrayed and then goes about killing Elizabeth Frankenstein on their wedding day. So yeah, they're literally creating a new story just to subvert. Even Grace Randolph didn't like this movie, and this movie checks all the boxes for her, and even she said it stunk. Yeah, I guess that's saying something. The Mandalorian and Grogu is described as a Star Wars story. After we saw what happened with the lukewarm opening of Rogue One and Solo, respectively, this film doesn't show much promise. That's absolutely true. At least, I think Rogue One pulled a profit, which actually is unique for Disney Star Wars. You can argue that the sequel trilogy all were profitable, but when you compare it to the long run effects, and even considering it starts out $4 billion in the hole because of the purchase of Lucasfilm, those movies did not break even, did not pull them into the black. So yeah, let's wrap this one up. Review was lukewarm at best, with the film holding a 59% score on Rotten Tomatoes, while audiences have the film at C+, cinema score, a rating widely considered a warning sign for poor word of mouth. Box office analysts cited the film's niche appeal and massive budget as key factors behind its collapse. Elevated horror is a tough sell to the general public, analyst Jeff Block told Variety. Warner Brothers spent twice as much as they should have on this. Yeah, absolutely. And based on what it's actually making, even that would have been too much. Honestly, yeah, it tried to exploit political messaging, but of course it was messaging from 2016. Part of the film's marketing push and we're a bit past that now. We're about 10 years on from that. The film's marketing push emphasized political and ideological themes. Director Maggie Gyllenhaal openly framed her filmmaking career as a response to the election of Donald Trump in 2016. If that is your focus, the calendar is going to leave you behind. And honestly, I'm seeing that in so many of the movies and TV shows that we're seeing. They're so focused on the here and now of politics that 10 years, 15, 30, 60 years from now, that will look so dated. It'll be laughable to audiences of the future. There is no rewatchability of these films. It's something to think about. In a widely circulated interview clip, Gyllenhaal said, "Maybe I'll get in trouble, but when I really become a director, when I really became a director was actually the morning that Trump was first elected." Well, that might have meant something if you were a good director and successful director. The director suggested her work was motivated by a desire to give women who have their mouth shut a voice, positioning projects like The Bride as part of a broader cultural response to the political climate. That framing may have energized some Hollywood commentators, but it appears to have done little to attract mainstream moviegoers. Well, I'll tell you something else. That's kind of a laughable comment coming from a celebrity with a stage at her disposal, right? She's so oppressed. She's a woman. She's so oppressed. She has no voice. Really? You can't shut up, Anyway. Massive budget on a risky concept. I think we all know that. Is this another warning sign for Hollywood? It just underscores what they already know at this point. Let's be honest about that. So that is The Bride, as first brought up in the chat by Big Al of Big Al Presents. Give me 1 minute, 20 seconds. I got a very, very abbreviated group of promos, and then we'll get back to a couple more WTFs. Give me just a second here.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Saturday night at the movies, when Mitch McAfee spots a UFO as big as a battleship, he is regarded as a dangerous crackpot until other incidents and disappearances convince the authorities that the threat is real. Some believe it is a folk legend come to life, but it turns out to be an extraterrestrial giant bird whose disregard for human life and architecture threatens the world. It's the 1957 creature feature, The Giant Claw, on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Hello. While you're here, please visit our merch store where you can get cute t-shirts just like this. Link in the description below. Or use this QR code on your mobile device. Hope you find something you like.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Want to say welcome to Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Kapla. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. So, if you thought the last one was a WTF, this one is, oh my gosh. They can't be taught. They have a thinking problem. They really, really do. Well, let me show you. Rachel Zegler doubles down on racial rhetoric as comeback attempt begins. Because how well did it work for you the first time around? Let's keep trying the same thing and see if we get different results. You frickin' genius. This one's also from Marvin Montanaro. If this is meant to be the beginning of a Rachel Zegler comeback tour, it's off to a rough start. The actress who found herself at the center of Disney's troubled live-action Snow White remake is once again drawing attention after speaking with Harper's Bazaar UK about the backlash surrounding both the film and her public behavior over the past few years. Therefore, she's going to do more of it, right? But rather than signaling a change in tone following the collapse of the film at the box office, Zegler's latest comments appear to continue the same messaging that helped make her one of the most polarizing young figures in Hollywood. I think that's being generous to call her polarizing. I'd say she's one of the most hated. People are just disgusted by her. The small minority that stan after her, just like the Amber Turd followers. Yeah, that's your echo chamber. That's all there is left. But rather than signaling a change in tone following the collapse of the film at the box office, Zegler's latest comments appear to continue the same messaging that helped make her one of the most polarizing young figures in Hollywood. In the interview, Zegler framed the criticism she has faced largely through the lens of identity and public expectations. I was told I wasn't enough of one thing for West Side Story and too much of another for Snow White, she said. I think that's a comment on race. Yes, absolutely. It was really a really confusing time to be in my early 20s and hearing that. Shouldn't be confusing. Should not be confusing at all. It shows a lack of self-awareness that you're confused, right? You need to know who you are, how you are perceived, and choose your projects accordingly. Is this a good fit for me? If you can't answer that intelligently, you're in the wrong business. If you came to this and said, yeah, I'll make a good Snow White, you should not be making those decisions. You really should not. I grew up proud of being Colombian, eating the food, wearing the dresses, drinking the coffee, really? Drinking the coffee is what makes you Colombian because it's Colombian roast. Yeah, you're definitely not enough because it's more than food and dresses and coffee. It really is. Doing all the things that were so intrinsic to who I was as a kid and who I am as an adult. And again, being an actor has nothing to do with who you are and what you've been. It's being able to put on the appearance of someone you are completely not. Okay? Peter Mayhew did not remember his time living in the woods, eating meat that he caught himself with his hands, and swinging on vines through the trees to channel his inner Chewbacca. That's not who he was. He was an actor. He's like, okay, I got to pretend to be Bigfoot. Okay, what would Bigfoot be like? Not drawing on any experience he had. Okay? And I'll tell you what, Snow White was not Colombian. She just wasn't, you know? But I do think there's an argument to be made that in the public eye, at least, when you're two things, you're simultaneously nothing. But I refuse to assimilate for anybody else's comfort. Nobody's asking you to. We're asking you to figure out who the hell you are. You know, if you're two things, be those two things. You are you, be you. And then choose appropriate projects. And as an actor, that means not being you. Ever. Unless you're playing your own autobiography, get over yourself and play the role. Hate to have to tell people how to do their jobs. It's the descriptor. You're an actor. Act! When discussing the material toll on the backlash has taken on her, the actress also spoke about the role therapy has played in helping her process the experience. Again, it's all about the therapy. You get your shit together in your therapy session. This is not meant to be your therapy session. If you are not in the right mental health state, you shouldn't be doing this, and you definitely should not be doing political junkets. I mean, Freudian slip there. Public junkets and getting political. That's the other problem. Politics is their identity. If we're really honest, I long for a time when it's not taboo to talk about and explore in a way that is universal and acceptable. Yeah, kumbaya, peace and love. Can't we all just live together, share the world? I long for that day. Yeah, well, that day will come when, when the mushroom clouds fly and there's nobody left. Then there will be peace on earth. Until that day, live in reality. Everybody deserves to understand what's going on in their own mind and heart. Well, you might want to work on that. Possibly before you step out of the house. At one point, she also appeared to acknowledge the scale of the backlash that followed her comments over the past several years. If I'd been able to predict everything that would come my way, and let's face it, anyone with two brain cells to rub together could have, the threats to my safety, doubt. I would have just thrown my phone into the ocean. I think any sane person would have. And yet, you didn't learn the lesson. Maybe you should do it now. However, critics argue that the interview stops well short of any meaningful accountability for the rhetoric that helped fuel the controversy in the first place. Even that last quote is more lamenting the issue that arose from the rhetoric than the behavior itself. Exactly, because she doesn't show any signs of changing what she's doing. Disney's live-action Snow White remake faced scrutiny long before it ever reached theaters. And then we're going to rehash all the problems with that. The pattern of controversy, the backlash surrounding Zegler didn't originate from a single interview or public comment. Instead, it developed through a long list of incidents that repeatedly placed the actress at the center of online controversy. During the promotional campaign for Snow White, Zegler drew criticism for remarks about the original film that many fans interpreted as dismissive. In one interview, she described the classic story as outdated, stating, "It's not 1937 anymore, and very evidently so." She also took aim at the original romance between Snow White and the Prince, describing the character as a guy who literally stalks her. Calling elements of the story weird. No. Well, yes, that's right. It was the Prince that she called weird. In discussing the remake, she explained that her version of the character would not be dreaming about true love, but instead about becoming the leader she always knew she could be. At one point, she even joked that the male love interest in the remake could be cut out from the story entirely. Outside the film itself, Ziegler became embroiled in political controversy on social media. Following the 2024 election, she posted that President Trump and his supporters should never know peace, a comment that sparked significant backlash online. She also faced criticism about inserting geopolitical commentary into the marketing cycle of Snow White, including linking the release of the film's trailer to the conflict in the Middle East. According to industry reports, the rhetoric led to threats of violence directed towards her Israeli co-star Gal Gadot, Gadot, I still don't know how she pronounces it, and her children. The situation became serious enough that Disney reportedly hired additional security for Gadot and her family. See, I think Godot is a French pronunciation. I don't think that's how it's intended. Those reports also indicated that Ziegler was asked by the film's producer to remove her social media posts in light of the threats, but she declined. If the company you're working for asks you to remove a comment and you don't do that, don't expect to work with that company ever again. Just saying. In addition, Ziegler participated in the social media pile-on against the Mandalorian star Gina Carano during the controversy that ultimately led to Carano being removed from the Disney Plus series. That is all kinds of hypocritical. I live for the day when you can speak your mind and be accepted for it, blah, 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 blah. Except her, because I don't like what she said. Taken together, these incidents helped shape a reputation around the actress that many observers believe overshadowed her actual work on screen, which honestly wasn't great. It wasn't horrible, but it's not great. Hollywood distance and a possible comeback. Yeah, I doubt it. Can Rachel Ziegler mount a comeback? Sure hope not. She sure doesn't deserve it. She does not deserve it. Everyone does deserve a second chance, but she hasn't earned it yet. She has not yet earned it. Yep. Exactly right. That kind of hypocrisy don't fly. There's a lot of people that have no dog in the hunt between left and right, between Gina and this dingbat. But when they see stuff like that, they go, wait a minute. Now you got my attention and not in the way you want it. You know? I don't know. Oh, gosh. This is, yeah. She has no second chances, and not the way she's going. Not by doubling down on exactly why she's on the outs in the first place. That's pretty ridiculous. We were talking about the Book of Boba Fett, and speaking of not having learned any lessons, Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian season 3 writer Noah Clure credited on the Mandalorian and Grogu. Really, how successful was the Book of Boba Fett? So successful, it's not getting a second season. How successful was season 3 of The Mandalorian? Just saying. Let's reward failure with another opportunity for failure. I'm not going to get into this one too much. I think that the headline kind of speaks for itself. Just saying. And this was my last WTF for today. This one, I was just like, I literally was like, what? Hazardous material scare at Disneyland forces evacuation. Tomorrowland ride closures and sends cast members to the hospital. I am going to say there's a certain amount of irony that this takes place at Tomorrowland. Is that like, prediction of the future? more environmental crises uh, because of bad industrial decisions. Guests visiting Disneyland parks experienced an unexpected disruption Tuesday after an evacuation was triggered in part of Tomorrowland following a hazardous materials incident backstage that sickened several cast members and sent them to the hospital. According to multiple reports from inside the park, sections of Tomorrowland were shut down and attractions, including Space Mountain, were evacuated while emergency crews responded to the situation. Initial reports indicated Anaheim Fire and Rescue responded to Disneyland report after a hazardous material alert was triggered behind the scenes in Tomorrowland area. According to updates shared by theme park reporter Scott Gustin, the issue stemmed from building materials being used by a contractor backstage. Update: building materials used by a contractor triggered a reaction backstage at Disneyland. He said several cast members were treated on site by paramedics and released, while 5 experienced dizziness and shortness of breath were taken to local hospitals. The situation prompted Disney cast members to begin clearing parts of Tomorrowland while emergency personnel evacuated the area. As the situation unfolded, Disneyland operations team began evacuating guests from several nearby attractions. Space Mountain, Star Tours, Star Traders Gift Shop, Space Mountain, and the upper level of Star Wars Launch Bay. It's kind of funny that it's all happening to the Star Wars stuff. Guests riding Space Mountain were escorted off the attraction, while cast members directed others away from the affected areas. Cast members also blocked entry into nearby shops and parkways while the emergency response continued. The hazardous materials response appeared to have been triggered after several Disneyland cast members reported symptoms, including dizziness and shortness of breath. Gustin later provided an update report clarifying the number of individuals transported for further medical evaluation. 8 Disneyland cast members who experienced dizziness and shortness of breath were transported to local hospitals for evaluation, he said. This does not mean that they were hospitalized or admitted, only that they were taken for further medical evaluation. Emergency responders reportedly treated multiple individuals on site before determining several others should be taken to nearby hospitals for precautions. At the time of the update, none of the transported cast members had been confirmed as admitted patients. The emergency response forced Disney to suspend several scheduled park operations. According to reports from inside the park, at 1:30 p.m., Cavalcade was canceled while cast members focused on clearing the area and assisting emergency crews. Images of the scene showed cast members lining up outside a Star Trader shop and blocking access to the affected section of Tomorrowland. Guests were reportedly escorted through backstage pathways while rides were cleared and emergency personnel assessed the situation. While Scott Gustin's update indicated the reaction was likely triggered by building materials used by a contractor backstage, officials have not yet publicly identified the exact substance involved. You'd think that would be important for those that might have been affected. Emergency crews responded quickly and cleared the affected areas of Tomorrowland while evaluating the situation and assisting cast members who reported symptoms. Disney has not yet released a full statement detailing what specific materials caused the reaction or whether any additional safety measures will be implemented following the incident. For now, the situation appears to have been contained, though the incident briefly disrupted park operations and led to ride evacuations as a precaution while first responders assessed the area. Wow, that's some interesting stuff. And welcome to, I believe that this would be, because it's Midnight's Edge After Dark, Tom Connors. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. This was just after paying for tickets. That is crazy. And unfortunately, this is not an isolated incident. We see this kind of stuff happening at these parks time and time again. In fact, Midnight's Edge has done a great job about talking about the failures by comparison to what Disney used to be, sight lines and things like that, and park planning. Just a lot of bad business decisions on Disney's perspective. What is it in the park in Florida? Sewage problems in the Tiana's Bayou or whatever. It's like, really, there's local fly-by-night type parks that don't have problems like this. This is ridiculous. I mean, who do they have in charge of these Disney parks now? The same people that do Renaissance fairs? I mean, what the heck? My main question is, are there outside forces who did this incidentally or on purpose? No, I suspect it's incompetence. I don't know if we have no way of knowing until we know what the product was that was causing this. They were probably spraying something without taking proper precautions. Certain things should not be done during the business day when people are present. Someone mixed up the cleaning chemicals, I think. That could very well be. In fact, I would not be surprised to find out it's something as simple as like a bleach ammonia type situation. I have a question for Disney. Are you retarded? They kind of are. Well, they have people in place that are incompetent, is what it really comes down to. But anyway, guys, I've kind of gone a little bit over. We need to get you back to your work day. I want to thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me. Obviously, this is Wednesday, so I got nothing tonight, but maybe go check out Pop Culture Breakdown on Doomcock's channel. Tomorrow night, Netter's Network. Friday, by the way, we finally finalized a topic for Friday, and we're going to be talking about the scary movies that traumatized us as children. That ought to be kind of fun. And not necessarily horror movies either, but we'll get into that. So I want to thank all of you so much for being here today and sharing your liquid lunch with me today. Get back to work, be productive. I thank you so much for the time that you've granted me. Stay safe and healthy. Be as hydrated as you possibly can, because that's good for your health. Drink responsibly, and I'll see you all on the next one. Salute, my friends.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.